Good day and welcome to another wet start to a week at the plot. Did we have a wet start last week? I can't remember, but boy, did the week end up being wet. I mean, now the 9th of August, so coming up to the middle of August, this is a month where the UK usually has lots of sun and lots of warmth. And actually, I have to say, this morning, Richard decided to put the heating on for half an hour. It was cold. And yesterday as well, I was sitting on the sofa. And okay, I was sitting in a t-shirt. But, the 8th of August, I shouldn't be sitting in a t-shirt and being cold in the house. I mean, that's ludicrous. And then conversely, coming down here today, it doesn't feel that cold. It doesn't feel warm and it's wet, but it doesn't feel cold. But you know what? The things that don't really mind too much sun, no, the things that don't really mind not having a lot of sun, like the carrots, like the brassicas, like the potatoes, like the beans, they are doing really well. In fact, I've just picked another load of, well, not load, I've only picked 8 of these Golden Gate flat French beans. You can see they're really flat. And these have been a revelation for us this year. I've usually grown Marvel of Venice, which I've enjoyed, but I wanted to grow a British variety, and Golden Gate is a British variety. So, yeah, fingers crossed that we will get far more harvests from those. I mean, they're just being so prolific. The germination was really poor. I mean, I think I've mentioned this. I know I've mentioned it. In fact, the germination was really poor. We put 24 seeds in. I think 10 germinated. But boy, those 10 have made up for the other 14 that didn't grow, didn't germinate. And I've also just harvested more carrots. These are London Market. So in last week's A Week at the Plot, or yesterday, if you're watching this on Planet Vegetarian, we harvested Luna White and Nantes. These are London Market. And again, look, fabulous carrots. Really fabulous. People ask us, do we suffer from carrot root fly? Not significantly. I think because we grow in quite a tall raised bed, we don't really get a lot of issues with carrot root fly. There is a thought it only flies up to about 45 centimetres, though other people that I've spoken to and read online, in fact, say that that's a fallacy. It can get in anywhere. But you know what? For us, carrot root fly comes really at the end of our harvesting season. And maybe that's something to do with the fact that we try not to disturb them before that. So we sow them thinly. We try not to thin them out. And in fact, if a couple or even 3 are together, I don't really worry too much. I think if you've got good light soil and it's got quite a good depth on it, so there's 12, I suppose there's about 24 centimetres. So just over, no, there can't be 24 centimetres, 30 centimetres. Yes, gosh, I was just going to say 2 foot. I'm thinking, no, that's 2 foot. There's about 24 centimetres, 2 decking boards of compost there. It tends to be about 2.5, and then it settles down as they grow. But yeah, we try not to disturb them. And I do think that growing carrots in containers or in a tall raised bed is a good thing if you can do that. Even if it means possibly putting a bed in and building it up over a couple of years to get the soil height higher. And of course, we don't feed them. The compost that we grow our carrots and our parsnips in is usually spent compost from something from the year before. So I think a lot of this year's compost that we've used to grow, a lot of the compost we've used to grow this year's carrots and parsnips were actually from our potato growing bags that we had last year when we did the big tomato bed. And also those beans, those runner beans, are still standing. They're at a rather jaunty angle, but they are still standing at the moment, so fingers crossed. And none of the leaves seem to be wilting at all, so I don't think there's any damage to any of the stalks of the growing bean vine. And where those beans fell over onto the brassicas bed, all of the brassicas there that were a bit crumpled are all now standing up straight again, so they are all fine. So yeah, it's since I've been here, it's been raining, it's been dry, well, not dry, it stopped raining, and I think it's just going to be one of those days where we have heavy showers, and you know, that's, you can't do anything about it, it's the weather, you know. So, oh, butterfly trying to come in the shed. Gladly it didn't, because there are a few cobwebs in here, and that actually is something else I could start sorting out maybe this week, tidying up this shed, because there's quite a few things that need to be tidied up or go somewhere else on the plot. Oh no, it just came in again and then went out again. And the last thing that I'm going to do now is, you'll remember that, was it last week or the week before, we harvested the Train Driver Mountain Range peas, the Mr. Bethel's Purple Podded Mange 2 stroke peas, and also the Golden Sweet Mange 2. They've been in here with plenty of air circulation in a mushroom tray for over a week now, so I'm just going to bag them up individually and take those home with me, and then they will dry in our dining room on a plate for about another week. I will take them out of the pods now because I know they're pretty well dry. They'll dry on a plate for another week, then I'll put them into a glass jar, into the freezer for 3 or 4 days, and then they'll be going into our fridge for me to sow next year. And really, you know, my head is really turning to next year already. I mean, sometimes some of my thoughts already have been about what I'm going to be doing next year. But yesterday was a day, it was a Sunday, and I sat down on the sofa with my tablet, and I copied the things that I've been growing this year, or trying to grow this year, onto a new spreadsheet. And I started going through thinking, right, I'll grow that again next year, or no, I'm not going to grow that again next year. One revelation for me this year was the Colleen early potatoes, and I will definitely be growing some more next year. The reason being is they're fabulous as a steamed potato. They're fabulous cold because they hold themselves really well, so they go quite firm when they're cold. And also as a potato for roasting or for making chips in the oven, they're fantastic. So you know what, I found an all-rounder which is called Colleen, and that's what I'm going to be growing next year. I'm not going to be growing any late potatoes next year. We're thinking about putting in another fruit bed, or possibly 2 fruit beds. There's not going to be any room to do late potatoes, and I don't want to grow them in containers next year because I don't find they grow well for us in containers. So there we are. Anyway, look, I can see the clouds are darkening out there. It's quite bright above me at the moment, but the clouds are coming in and they're looking quite grey. So I'm going to say goodbye now for this first segment of A Week at the Plot. I'll see you soon, whether it's tomorrow or not, I'm not sure. And we'll pick up on some other things when I next see you. Have a good week if you're on Planet Vegetarian, and have a good week if you're on YouTube as well. Bye. Good day. You may remember we found these brassicas in the polytunnel the other day. I thought they'd all been taken by fellow plot holders that I said please feel free to take, but I think what happened is the last person that may have taken some just moved them off to the side, and I put something in front of them and then missed them. So we've got Nero Detox. No, these are Dazzling Blue Kale here. Then these taller ones, or certainly these, which are looking a bit more ragged, are the Portuguese cabbage. And then off to this side here, these that have definitely been wrangled by slugs or snails, they are Nero di Toscana. I did sow some Portuguese cabbage seeds the other day, and they have begun to germinate, which is absolutely great. In fact, I saw the first one germinate about 2 days after we sowed them. And now all I'm going to do is decide which bed I'm going to put these into. As I said last week, because these have been stressed in the polytunnel for various reasons of being dry and just being left for too long before transplanting, it could be that they bolt and go to seed. But you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So I'm going to put them in and we'll see what happens. These are the 2 beds that we've got available. I think I'm going to put them in that bed there, the further one, which had our onions in. No particular reason. So what I'm going to do now is just separate the plantlets out, because they're sort of a bit beyond seedlings now. So I'm going to separate the plantlets out and just lay them out and then put them in as you have seen us do before. I don't think I'll get time to get onto that bed today, but that's another one that everything needs to come out, go into the compost bin and then be weeded. But hopefully, if this job doesn't take too long, I will be able to get onto weeding this bed here, which has our other brassicas in it. What I have noticed, which came as quite a surprise, is, can you see in here, the clover that has taken over. Clover's taken over. Clover's not good in the garden unless it's exactly where you want it to be, because it's another bit of an inhibitor in that I know that clover can give climbing beans a mosaic virus, which is not good, and we suffered from that a few years ago. But yes, if I can get onto that job today, I will do, i.e. weeding this bed, or these 2 beds actually, because there's a path in the middle. There we are. That's those brassicas in. Could you see them? Oh, I mean, look at that one there. Look. Oh, and that one. I mean, those, okay. You can just about see those. But we're going to have empty beds over the winter. We always do. So this is no longer going to be empty because it's got brassicas in it. So if they do anything, that's a bonus. If they don't, then at least we've grown something for the compost pile. And then coming over here, not done that bed. That will have to be another day. I'm absolutely jiggered, as my mum would say. I have weeded this bed thoroughly. If I come down here, hopefully you can see better. A lot of, well, I mean, there's still some small weeds in there, but most of the weeds are out. And in fact, I thought up here we had our dazzling blue kale, but actually I'm noticing that some down here have got, can you see that tinge on that leaf there, on the spine of that leaf, and on this one here? So I think those are dazzling blue kale, because this one here, which is more crinkly, is the Nero di Toscana. So, and over there we have the Portuguese cabbage on the left. There's plenty of room for them to grow under that net. This won't be the final weeding of this year. I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah, it will definitely need more weeding, but that will do for the time being. Now to harvest some more carrots, potatoes, and Golden Gate beans. Well, yeah, as my mum says, as I said, I am absolutely jiggered. I'm not quite sure why. I haven't. Well, I suppose it's getting on your hands and knees, getting up, getting on your hands and knees, getting up, you know, moving the kneeling pad. I need a little sort of travelator I can put on either side of the beds or in the middle of that brassica bed and just travel down like they have at airports and things. That would be fab. So yeah, I'm really glad to have got those brassicas in. As I say, whether they'll come to anything, I don't know. We shall see. And I'm so glad to have got this brassicas bed, or these two brassicas beds, weeded, because I've been looking at the weeds under there for several weeks now. As I say, it will need another weed. I mean, this, you know, I mean, it feels to me like an early October day today. That's what it feels like. Blue skies, white clouds, breeze, nice amount of warmth in the air. But it doesn't feel like August the 11th. Is it August the 11th? Yes, or it doesn't feel like August the 11th. So I have harvested more carrots. Those are the Luna White, and those are the Nantes. One of our plot holders down here said to me the other day, "Are you harvesting more carrots, or are you just showing us the same bunch that you harvested?" So I said, "No, come and have a look." And yeah, she was convinced that we have carrots and we are regularly harvesting them. But you know what? They're really good size and they are a great flavour, as are the Colleen potatoes, the Colleen earlies, which I think we'll have steamed today, and the Golden Gates. I think maybe that has been the two things this year that I would want to grow again. Colleen new potatoes, Golden Gate French beans. And the carrots and the white and the orange carrots we grow each year. Will I grow Luna White next year? I don't know. I might grow a purple carrot next year. Who knows? The original colour of carrots was actually purple. So there we are. Anyway, I'm going to go home and have a cup of tea now. I will see you again soon for a week at the plot. Not sure what we'll be doing. I was with Vanessa yesterday in Cranley. So I think at some point I'm just going to have a little chat about what we did yesterday. In fact, I know what I'm going to do. There we are. I'm going to go now. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. I've been looking at this tree again and wondering what work needs to be done on it in the autumn months. It's getting quite old, and you can see that the trunk and the branches in the middle are becoming quite bare, and I'm wondering whether the best thing to do might be to actually take this down in height by about 50%. I'm worried about the height and the wind and the strength of the boughs halfway up, and whether the wind might actually crack some of those boughs and bring that whole top branch down onto the polytunnel. And B, I can see that some of it is actually dying back, and in fact you can see, I think in the middle there's a branch hanging down vertically, and that's just suspended because it's broken off and it's sort of stuck in the middle on another branch. But the tree work that I'm thinking of doing here reminded me of the tree work that I saw on Tuesday when I was down with Vanessa. We've got Dan on the right and Vanessa, as you know, on the left. And this that they're sitting on is a huge oak that came down a few weeks ago.
Probably, yeah, 4 weeks ago. Nick cut it down 4 o'clock in the morning.
And
quietly on his own.
And it is actually going to be used for the project that Vanessa is working on, the big barn. The
Great
big
green barn.
Great green barn. There we are. And effectively what Dan and Andrew, who's over to the left, are doing is making beams out of this. Is it beams?
Yeah, so there's all different sections for the A-frame for the roof that we're cutting out, some different struts and sole plates and what have you, but yeah, all different sizes, just trying to make the most out of the wood really, rather than leaving it to go to rot, because it's kind of borderline, it was on the turn anyway, so yeah, it needed to come down, and it's better to use it for something rather than leaving it to waste.
So if we look in front here, you can see that big square block is actually still attached, isn't it, to the...
No, so that's been milled through, so the cuts come through underneath here.
Oh right, so there's cut under there.
Yeah.
Oh, so it is actually free?
So that's free now, yeah. If you fancy lifting it, by all means, give it a go. But
it's quite heavy, but what Dan has done, this bit just at the front, which is looking at us, he's cleft that away from that side there, so we just saw that a few minutes ago fall forward, and I mean it's just amazing.
It's just gorgeous stuff. It's just gorgeous. And we've still got that bit.
yeah, there's a big section there. I don't think we're quite going to get any long sections out of that, but there's another massive log in there that we should probably get 3 or 4 beams out of. So I think that'll be all the timber cut for the first frame, hopefully.
Because he just wants the 2 tie beams, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then
There's
shorter
loads of
bits
other
and
bits and
pieces.
bobs, yeah.
So the wonderful thing about this is it's actually, how many miles away is the barn?
It's 4.
So 4 miles away, and you were going to be getting this from France?
Yeah, it was actually on order from France. It was going to take about 10 weeks to get here, and all the rest of it, and all the travel miles, and all the and a tree that potentially, I'm sorry about that.
There's Nessa's phone going.
But yeah, no, it's just helpful to be able to have it. It's nice to be able to use stuff that's local. Obviously, it's English timber, and yeah, the fact that it's coming from their own property as well, and being able to reuse
Yeah,
it is great.
it's fantastic.
History to it also.
So as you saw, that was the beam cut out from a huge trunk of oak. And of course, I was wondering, well, how do they actually do that anyway? How do they slice it in that way? And then Dan said, oh, there's another oak over here that we're going to be cutting up. Let's go over there and I'll show you how we do it. And I'm going to show you that footage now. The whole section to cut through, I suppose it may have been about 15 feet. That whole section took about 15 minutes, but I'll just sort of phase it through. But quite extraordinary, quite extraordinary. That's how you cut a huge beam out of a big chunk of oak tree. Quite amazing, I think. And if I haven't said already, the treesman thought that they were going to get 3 beams out of that one trunk, so quite extraordinary. And he'd marked it all up on the end. I thought it was fascinating, so I hope you did too. We're going to be following the journey of the various things growing over the coming years at For Earth's Sake, and I thought it would be good to see some of those in a week at the plot, so I hope you enjoyed that. I am going to get on now and just do some harvesting of more carrots and beans, and I'll see you again tomorrow for another segment of A Week at the Plot. See you then. Bye. Good day. It is Saturday, and what a glorious day it has turned out to be. It's one of those lovely summer days where the skies are blue, lots of white clouds, and a nice breeze to keep you cool. It's saying it's 33 degrees in the shed at the moment. It's most probably about 22, 23 outside. And it's 5 o'clock. Gosh, 5 o'clock. And this isn't the first time I've been at the plot, and I haven't been at the plot all day either. So we had a working party this morning from 10 till 1. It went on till 1:30, and then there was teas and coffees and cakes and tidying up. So it actually went on till 2. And it was a really, really great turnout today, even though it's sort of like in the middle of people's holidays as well. Yeah, great turnout. We got a huge amount done. Also, the charity, 2 trustees from the charity came down because we needed to talk about a couple of things on the site. So I talked about the things that we needed to talk about with them. So that was really, really great. And it was just a good morning. It was just a good morning. And then I went home, had some lunch, and have come back just for an hour. I said to Richard, I'll be about an hour. I think I've been about 45 minutes already chatting to somebody as I came in. But, you know, that's what allotment life is, isn't it? So it's going to be a brief one today. And what am I talking about today? I'm talking about compostable crisp packets. Two farmers, a crisp brand. They do the usual things. What's that one? That's Hereford. This one is a Hereford hop cheese and onion. So that's cheese and onion. This one's lightly salted. I think they've got a sort of sausage or a beefy one as well. And they've got salt and vinegar as well. And the fantastic thing is that they're plastic free. So these are on sale at For Earth's Sake in Cranley. And the other day, Vanessa gave me a couple of packets and said, you know, these are near the use by date, you know, please have them. So Richard and I have had them over a couple of days with our lunch. And I am now going to, you can see they're plastic free, look, plastic free there, plastic free. So now I'm going to compost them. One will go in our standard compost bin. The other will go in our hot bin. I think I'm going to put the lightly salted, which is what we call in the UK plain crisps, in the plain compost bin. And I'm going to put the Hereford hop cheese. The hop cheese is going into the hot bin composter. And we'll see how long they take to break down. I've checked online and they are fine for composting at home. So you know what? That's really, really great. So in a month or so, I'll be turning the compost bins because I've just given them a turn a couple of days ago. So I'll be turning them in a month. So I'll see whether any of them, either packet, has started breaking down within the month. I would have thought the hot bin would have done. Whether the plain one does, I don't know. We shall see. Anyway, I am going to leave it there. I'm absolutely exhausted following the work party this morning. There was a lot to do, and also we were trying to take out a elder tree trunk. This elder, we'd left it in for too long. It was on a boundary path, so it didn't matter. But that boundary path, we're actually opening it up because we're putting more plots in the paddock area, and it was on the boundary between the paddock and one of our footpaths, and it didn't matter before, but now it does because of the opening up of that area. So the I would have thought I think it's mostly about as big as my head, the actual trunk of this elder, and we've cut it right down to about 4 foot because we want to use the 4 foot of the trunk as leverage to try and dig it out. And yeah, we were using an axe to cut roots and using things to get in, but my energy just got sapped. It just got sapped because it was the last thing that I was doing of the day, and I didn't get that done. So I think that's something that I will look at tomorrow. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to read my book. I'm in a bit of a book reading mood at the moment, and I'm going to go home and have quiet time and read my book. See you again tomorrow. Bye. Good day. A bit of a breezy day today, and I've decided to get on with this bed and get the moisture and the broad beans taken out and the bed weeded. It's taken me about an hour in total to actually get to my plot, having left home at 11 o'clock this morning because of the amount of people I've met on the way. So how much I'll get done today, I'm really not sure. And also, I'm rather loving, I'm going to tread on this bed. Ooh. I'm rather loving this plant here. I look at that flower. Can you see that flower there? Let's turn around. Oh, it's not picking it up, but this is actually that leaf. You can mostly tell it's a bindweed. It's called copse bindweed, and it's just rather lovely. I think it's the only bindweed that is lovely. Come over here. Here's the communal garden bindweed that we all know. That is an absolute pain. So this bed really needs a good weed. I'm also not sure what this plant is. Yeah, not sure. I'm going to take a photo and have a look. But I'm not going to concentrate on that. I'm going to concentrate on clearing up this bed. Sometimes you achieve things and sometimes you don't. And the couple of hours that I allotted for myself today to sort out this bed, it just hasn't happened. So I'm going to either crack on with it later or more likely crack on with it tomorrow. When it came to looking for my wheelbarrow so that I could start weeding this area, I couldn't find my wheelbarrow. So anyway, as you can see, I found the wheelbarrow. This is going to have to wait till later or tomorrow. So I'm just accepting that I haven't got done today the job that I had allotted in the 2 hours I was coming down here. That's fine. Other things have been achieved. Communicating with other people, having conversations with other people, that's really important, particularly in the role of a chair of a committee or being a committee member, because there are things that people will tell you that will want to take to committee meetings and discuss at committee meetings. And communicating is just all part and parcel, as I've said before, of allotment life. But I have to accept that that means that I haven't got done that bed. That job is not done, and I have to be fine with it. I have to be. I I know, I mean, Sunday is a pretty busy time down at allotments anyway. So I'm hoping that later on today or tomorrow, which is generally quieter on a Monday, I'll be able to get on with that bed and sort it out. There's nothing, what's going in there? There's garlic going in there. So the garlic will be going in October. So I need to get that bed done in the next 6 weeks. So you can see there isn't any great rush to get it done. But just like wanting to sort out the perennial bed at the front, I do want to get it done. So that is my next job. And then my job after that is going to be strimming. So yeah, I know what my jobs are. And of course, harvesting potatoes, harvesting carrots, and harvesting beans. Yeah, so actually, have I done a lot? I feel as though I've had quite a full week this week, not just on the plot, but around the site and also with Vanessa. I did, when it came to, well, one of the reasons, after I'd done the first bit of filming, I went to find, I took the beans out and I put them into our general compost bin. And the rest is going to go into our hot bin composter or the perennial compost bin. So I wanted to put all of the things that I'm going to fork out into my wheelbarrow. And I went to my wheelbarrow and I couldn't find my wheelbarrow. And I thought, oh, hang on, was my wheelbarrow nicked when the people came last week? So I had a look around the site and I actually found it in our communal wheelbarrows. So I think I must have offered it up at some point since I last used it. Maybe even yesterday morning, though I don't remember. No, I didn't touch the wheelbarrow yesterday morning. Anyway, I found it in our communal wheelbarrows. We've got a wheelbarrow park on our site, as many allotments do, and it was in with those. So I brought it back, but going to look to find it, that took me 20 minutes before I found it. And then as I found it, there was 2 plot holders where I was, and they started talking to me. So we had a 20-minute conversation on top of another 20-minute conversation I'd had with another plot holder, on top of a half-hour conversation I'd had with another plot holder, on top with of a 15-minute conversation I'd had with a neighbour on the road near the allotments. So you can see how a 2-hour segment can really be taken up by just chatting. But as I say, that's fine. It's 1:10. I said to Richard I would be a couple of hours. On this occasion, I was intending to literally just be a couple of hours. I will have been 2 1/4 by the time I get home. So I'm going to say goodbye for another full week of a week at the plot. And I'll catch you very soon for further segments on Planet Vegetaria or another upload in a week's time on Facebook. See you soon. Bye.